Today we will be visiting our last country. Can you guess which country we are going to? We will visit the country of Australia. Now, Australia is both a country and a continent. Now, Australia is a big country with very few people. All the countries that we learned in the past, they are small countries with a lot of people. But Australia is different. It is a big country with less people. The people of Australia are called Australians, and the language that they speak in Australia is English. This is what the flag of Australia looks like. It is blue with 7 stars, and in the corner you can see that's the British flag, the flag of England. So this is the flag of Australia. This is what it looks like. And Australia has a lot of interesting animals which are found only in Australia and nowhere else around the world. So I hope you're excited to go on this journey to Australia. Let's go! Today we will visit the country of Australia. Australia is almost as big as the United States. Now, since it is way down here on the globe, sometimes it is called the land down under. That's right. If you see the map, you'll see Australia is right there at the bottom. That is why it is called the land down under. And do you know one more thing about Australia? It is also a continent and a country. So Australia is the only country which is also a continent. This is Albert. Albert lives in Australia, and the brown furry animal in his arm is his pet wombat. That is a pet wombat. A baby wombat is carried inside his mother's pouch, just like another animal that lives in Australia. Can you guess who it is? Yes, a kangaroo. Now Albert is very excited to show us all the interesting animals in Australia. He cannot wait. So let's go and see some of the beautiful animals of Australia. This is a baby kangaroo. The baby kangaroos are called joeys. The adult will grow and stand about 6 feet tall. Wow, that is very tall. And some can also be 7 feet tall. The kangaroo's legs are very powerful. It can hop to 40 miles an hour. That's faster than we drive on most streets. Australia also has many beautiful birds. Emus are big birds that look a lot like ostriches. They can't fly, but they run fast. Now Albert will show us some koalas. They are furry animals that look like teddy bears. Koalas spend most of their lives up in trees. They love to eat the leaves of eucalyptus trees. When baby koalas are born, they are about the size of a nickel. Like kangaroos and wombats, their mothers have a pouch where the baby koala stays as he grows bigger. This is a platypus. Have you seen this animal before? Now, platypuses are very strange animals. They have fur, a bill and webbed feet like a duck, and a tail like a beaver. Isn't that strange? Platypus also like to swim in the water. This is a dingo. Dingoes are a type of wild dog. That means these dogs cannot be pets. You cannot keep them at home. They are wild dogs. Albert's family has to watch that dingoes don't get too close to their sheep. They might attack the sheep. So they have to be very careful of these dingoes. They are wild dogs. Since Australia is on the bottom side of our world, its seasons are the opposite of ours. When it is winter and cold here, it is summer and warm there. That means that in Australia, Christmas comes in the middle of their summer. So in December, when we have winter, they have summer. Some Australians go to the beach after they eat their Christmas meal. Well, we cannot do that because it gets so cold. We cannot be on the beach during Christmas, right? But Australia, it's summer, so they go to the beach after their Christmas meal. Most of the people who live in Australia live in cities next to the ocean. But Albert and his family live on a sheep ranch many miles from the coast. They call it a sheep station. Albert's father has over 1,000 sheep on his station, and Albert helps take care of them. Fences are very important at the sheep station. They help keep out the dingoes that might attack the sheep. Albert's father hires other men to help with the sheep too. In Australia, they call these ranch workers jackaroos. So these men that help Albert's father, they are called jackaroos. The ranch workers in Australia, they are called jackaroos. Australians raise thousands of sheep. In fact, there are about 10 times more sheep than people in Australia. That means there are more sheep in Australia than people. In spring, the sheep will get a haircut and the wool will be cut off. The wool will be sold all over the world. People use it to make blankets, sweaters, jackets, mittens, and other things. The Australians love to play cricket. Have you ever seen or played cricket? It is a very popular game in Australia. And usually after the game, they love to have a Barbie. No, not the Barbie doll. Do you know in Australia, they call barbecue Barbie. So they love to have barbecue. And because it is so warm in Australia, they have barbecue outside all year round. And they love to eat hamburgers. They call their evening meal tea. They don't call it supper or dinner. They call it tea. Since most Australians live in cities next to the ocean, They love water sports like swimming, surfing, diving, sailing, etc. Children who live far, far away on big stations, like Albert, how he lives on the sheep station, they are not able to go to school like we do. Instead, many go to school by radio. Yes, it is called the School of the Air. So they listen and can talk to their teacher over the radio. And some children, like Albert, watch a teacher by video. That's because they live far, far away from towns. So that is why they have to go to school by radio. Now, like I told you before, Australians speak English just like we do, but you might not be able to understand some of the words that they use. Do you know what they are? Well, for hard candy, they call them lollies. And for berets, which girls put on their head, they call them bumpers. And a man, they say a bloke. And for sneakers or sports shoes, they call them sand shoes. And like we learned before, for barbecue, they call it a barbie. And for a friend, they say a mate. So those are a few words that the Australians use. Now let's watch a small video to learn more about Australia.
Our world is made up of 7 pieces of land called continents. The country Australia is on a continent which is also called Australia. Australia is in the bottom half of our beautiful planet Earth. This is called the Southern Hemisphere. The first people who ever lived in Australia are known as Aboriginal Australians. They created some cool things, including a musical instrument called a didgeridoo. This is a long tube traditionally made from wood. It makes a very unique sound. Listen. How cool is that? They also made boomerangs. Boomerangs are curved sticks for throwing, but they are not like usual sticks, because if you throw a boomerang correctly, it will come back to you. That's right, you throw it and it travels in a circle all the way back to where it started. There are some amazing cities and buildings in Australia. The capital city is called Canberra. This city is called Sydney. What a gorgeous place. This is the Sydney Opera House. It looks a bit like a sailing boat, don't you think? There is a gigantic area in Australia called the Outback. In the middle of the Outback is a huge rock called Uluru, or Ayers Rock. It is taller than most buildings and goes a long way under the ground as well. Not many people live in the Outback. I think we need to cool off. Let's pop in the sea for a swim. The sea in Australia is full of amazing fish and other sea life. There is a large area of coral under the sea in Australia called the Great Barrier Reef. This beautiful underwater paradise is home to some amazing, colourful and rare creatures. Wow! Whether you're on the land or under the sea, Australia certainly has a lot of incredible animals.
I hope you enjoyed learning about Australia. It is a beautiful country with lots of different animals. And I will see you tonight in our Zoom class. Goodbye.